Hello subscribers and other viewers of this channel. In this video, I will provide you an introduction to Inkscape. Basically, Inkscape is a free and open source vector graphics editor that can be used for illustrations, for graphs that you can add to your papers, to your reports, and to other documents. Before I start, please allow me to explain why I created this video. Well, I was using Adobe Illustrator to create graphs, sketches, and figures that are added to my papers and that are used in this YouTube channel. However, my Adobe Illustrator license expired this year, and in order to renew this license, I have to pay $300. Unfortunately, this is out of my budget, so I decided to search for a free alternative to Adobe Illustrator. Then, after testing several graphical editors, I realized that Inkscape is maybe the best alternative to Adobe Illustrator, and consequently, in this video, I will provide you a very brief introduction to main functionalities of Inkscape. I will explain you how to create this illustration that represents an AND logical circuit. Then I will explain you how to create this person over here, this face. Then I will explain you how to place objects along a circular path. And this is another example. Then I will explain you how to create this image that you can see over here. I will explain you how to snap objects to the grid that you can see over here. And I will explain you different snapping options that you can see over here. Snapping options are very important for creating graphs and illustrations. And finally, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and to press the like button for more videos. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start our journey. We click on File, New, and here's our empty workspace. The first step is to activate the grid. So we select View and we click on Page Grid. So here's our grid. Then the next step is to ensure that Enable Snapping option is activated. You can get this menu by clicking over here, and here you can see several options. We need the nodes, grids, guidelines, and page borders for this video, and of course, feel free to experiment with other snapping options. Our first task is to create this illustration. In order to create this illustration, we first need to create a circle. So I click over here, I hold Control key, and here's my circle. I release my left button to create a circle. Now, I press this icon over here, I do the right click, and I select Fill and Stroke. And here we can adjust the fill, stroke paint, stroke style. Here I will select a linear gradient, that is, I will select this option over here, and I will choose some colorful options. For example, I will select this color over here, and you can see a nice gradient. Of course, you can have different types of gradients, you can play with the options. However, for brevity of this video, we will not explore other options. Next, we need to create a half of the circle out of this circle. To create a half of a circle, we need to trim this circle. To trim this circle, we need to define a trimming path. So I will click over here, and I will make sure that this option over here is selected. So I am now basically drawing lines. So this is my line, I draw a line, and after I complete the line, I press the enter. So here's my line. Okay, now I need a vertical line, so I will repeat this procedure again over here, make sure that this option is activated, and line should go from one point to another. And once you're done, you should press enter. So this is my trimming path, and now I need to trim this circle. Next, we select the circle and the path, and we click on path and we click on division. And after performing this operation, we have basically sliced our circle. And we have two half circles. We don't need the left side, so we will erase the left side, and then we will simply scale down our circle. I'm pressing, that is, I'm holding the Control key while I'm doing this. The next step is to draw lines with arrows. So to draw lines with arrows, we click over here, we make sure that this option is selected, and we simply draw a line. Here's our line, and we press enter. Then we need to select basically the stroke style, stroke paint, and fill. We will play with stroke style, we reduce the stroke width, and we need to select the arrow here, and under the markers options we click over here, and here's our arrow. Then we will move this object over here, and then we will press the Ctrl C, Ctrl V to copy and paste the object, and we will place the other arrow over here, and then the output arrow should be placed over here. Okay, now we need to adjust the positions of these arrows. That is, we have to make sure that they are properly snapped. To properly snap these three lines with arrows, we need to play with snapping options. So let us activate the snapping menu again by pressing this button over here, and let us deselect this option Nodes, and let us click over here on bounding boxes. And now we will be able to properly snap these arrows, as you can see over here. Okay, this is our first illustration. Next, we will create this illustration. So to create that illustration, we click on the circle over here, we hold the Control key to get a nice circle, and here we need to play with the fill and the stroke of the circle. To get the fill menu, you just simply click on the object and you click fill and stroke, and here is your fill and stroke menu. So we'll play with the fill. You'll, for example, select the gradient fill, and we will select the colors. For example, something that's a little bit darker, something that looks like this. And we will select stroke paint. We don't want any stroke paint, so this option will be deselected. And let us draw an eye and mouth. So to draw an eye and a mouth, we basically need to erase some parts. So there is here an eraser, and first test how this eraser works. You can simply do something like this, right? So we don't want that. We will simply draw a mouth. Here's our mouth, and here's an eye. And over here you can play with the width of your eraser. If you want to have a smaller eraser, you will decrease the width. And let's do Control Z, and let's repeat this procedure. Again, eraser, mouth, and here's our eye. Okay, so this is our second illustration. Next, let us create our third illustration. This one over here or this one over here. For brevity, I will only explain how to create this illustration. The procedure is identical in order to create this illustration over here. So we first need a circle. So I'm pressing the circle, I'm holding the Control key, and I'm releasing my button and Control key. And where is my circle? I don't see my circle. Well, the issue over here is that Inkscape remembers the last option. And if you remember the last illustration over here, we didn't have the stroke paint. So we need to click over here and to deactivate the stroke paint. And here's our circle. We will move this circle and rescale it. Again, I'm holding the Control key and the left mouse button. And here's our path. However, this is still not a path. You should be careful. We need to create a path out of this object. In order to create a path, I will click over here and I will select this option, Object to Path. And now this object is actually a path. The next step is to draw a smaller rectangle. I click over here and here's my rectangle. And over here I will adjust the stroke style since I don't like the width of my outer edge. And I will decrease the size of this rectangle a little bit. Then I will zoom in over here. And then I need to basically make an array out of this rectangle, and this array should be placed around the circle. To make copies of this circle around this circular path, I need to select the circle and the rectangle. Then I click on Extensions, and over here I need to find the proper option. The option that I need, or the menu I need, is Generate from Path, and I click on Scatter. Over here I click on Live Preview to see what's happening, and this is the result. Here you can adjust the offset. So if you play with this parameter, the circles, or better to say the rectangles, are going to be further away from your circle, and by increasing this number, that is by increasing the normal offset, you will get something like this. So you need to play with this parameter to obtain the most desirable option. In my case, it's going to be something like this. And of course, you can play with other parameters, for example, space between copies. You can change this to see what happens. So if I increase this, I have only 4 rectangles around the circle, and if I decrease this, I will obtain more rectangles. And the final step is to click on Apply. And we just close this window, and this is our third illustration. So let us go back to our original image and let us create this illustration over here. To create that illustration, I need 2 objects. I need a rectangle, so I will create one by clicking over here. So here's my rectangle, then I will play with the fill. I want, for example, a gradient fill, and I want to have, let's say, a blue color over here. Let's change this. Okay, so here's our rectangle, and I need a star. So I'll click over here, and I have several options. I actually have 2 options. The first option is a polygon, and the second option is a star. So here's our star, and we can play, of course, with the color and with the fill of this star. So let us choose a dark color, and let us place our star over here. We can rotate this star a little bit, or we can change its shape. Let us just rotate it like this. The next step is to select both objects, and we click over here on Path, and let us experiment with different options. Let us click on Difference, and immediately we obtain our shape. So this is our shape. So we basically do a complement or subtraction. Rectangle minus a star gives this shape. However, there are also other options, and you can play with them. You can do division. However, you need to restore everything to its original shape. Again, we select both options, and let's basically do division. Let's see what happens. Very interesting thing happens. Basically, we obtain the same results. It's the same result, only we preserve the star. So let us play with other options. Let us return everything to its original shape. Again, select, click on path. Let's do intersection, and after the intersection, we only obtain the start. And that's normal since these are two sets. This is the first set, and this is the second set of points. And when we do intersection, mathematical operation, or boolean operation, we obtain just the star. And of course, you can play with other options. However, I will end my video over here. I hope that you like this video. If you like the videos I create, please subscribe and support my channel. Thank you very much and have a nice day.